I sort of make instruments that you don't have to be good at, that sound good whether you're good at them or not. But kalimba is not exactly like that because in Africa, people get really good at kalimba.
Hi, I'm Heinbach and it's good to have you back. I've been playing David Bellinger's instrument for quite a while now and they've accompanied me to many places. I was introduced to them by my dear friend Darren Wiener of Patch Point. He apprenticed with David, and when David did not make them anymore, Darren took over. And as such, I get to play them oftentimes early on, commenting on their development, such as this with sub-bass kalimba. I got a video on that I'll link at the end of this video. And I'm happy to help him to get the word out because I truly love the radio kalimbas, especially this new one. The Magic Box. I'm aware that playing this instrument puts me in the danger of being meme-dead on the Bad Gear channel, but I'll take that risk. The Magic Box is an instrument Dave Bellinger made, even though he can't remember.
But you made one box like this.
No, I didn't. Not
Yes,
ever.
you made one exactly like this. I will send you a photo. That's why I made this. I bought it from you. That's why I made this.
Well, I believe you. I've forgotten things I've done before.
When Darren told me that he was going to visit David in the States, I asked if he could put some questions to him, as I would like to know more about these instruments I've played so much. Luckily, though David was just out of hospital recovering from a fall, he took the time to answer them.
I never really got into music. I don't call myself a musician. I would call myself an instrument maker,
Yeah.
inventor.
How and when did you come to building kalimbas?
Well, I was in downtown Portland one time, and I saw Boca Marimba, which is a marimba band playing Zimbabwean tunes. I realized I liked African music then, and I just started making kalimbas. I called them radio kalimbas because they were slightly electronic with a piezo pickup in them. So that's why they're RK and then a number. So when I was making them, I got him up to about RK 400 and something. And you've carried on with the same numbering system the rest of the time. I had a friend back in Illinois 40, 50 years ago. He now makes Peluso microphones. He gave me about 100 piezo's, and I started using them inside the Kalimbas as the microphone in Kalimbas. And they always worked great. I don't know if they're supposed to be low impedance or high impedance or anything like that. I never worried about that. They're high joltage. So
High joltage?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
They're just very jolty.
Very sensitive?
Yeah.
How long did you experiment with keys before you found the steel that you ended up using for the keys that we still actually use today? We still use the same steel.
At the bins, occasionally they have leaf rakes, and that stuff is 1/4 inch wide by some thickness. They sell that stuff in long rolls at the steels at the blue tempered clock spring store.
Okay, so you saw it first on the rake, and then you realized that was what you needed for the material.
Making a bulletproof bridge is really important. Bolting it to the wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great thing. Just tapping. Aluminum taps easily. I tap for the furniture bolts and I tap for the pressure bolts. Instrument is made from a Fisher-Price record player toy. These little star wheels, they catch bumps on a record. They're physical bumps on a record that's going around and around and playing a song. These 2 screws, I would screw it down to a handle. You could have a specially made glove for wheelchairs. Your hands don't get hurt by doing the wheelchair, and you would hit that thing, hit the jazz rattle, I was calling it, the jazz rattle against your palm, and it would play a random bunch of notes. It's just very random because you can't. It's not like a harmonica where you can move it around and play an exact note.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
magic box is a simple yet surprisingly beautiful concept. It takes a thing that is meant to recall melodies mechanically and turns it into a playable instrument. Its dual nature allows for call and response playing. In that way, it reminds me of the conversational style of playing the mbira, the instrument of the Shona people that inspired the Boca Marimba band that in turn started David on his kalimba journey. In that culture, it is not uncommon to imagine each key as representing a family member. The father, the lower notes, the middle notes, the mother, and the high notes, the child. And they all engage in a conversation, which makes for a radically different style of playing. The Soul of Mbira is a wonderful book to learn more about this, and I featured this already in my monthly newsletter. While it seems very simple and easy to play, it surprisingly is not. You have to put a lot of pressure onto the wheels to control them, and when you do, you can feel which note will come next, but it's not an exact science. It feels more like you're guiding the instrument, and the instrument is saying, yeah, you can do that, but let's try this, and let's try this. So the more time you spend with it, the more control you get, but there's always an element of surprise and random, which makes it somehow very natural. It's meditative to play, as you have to both concentrate but also listen. And that is why I take this everywhere with me. When I visited my mother in Munich at a hospital at the palliative care station, this was the instrument I played to her while she was sinking ever more into a morphine-induced sleep, which turned out to be her last one. The last music my mother played herself was a little music box that my sister had brought from France, playing La Vie en Rose. And it seemed very fitting that I had this with me. So you had this steady loop of La Vie en Rose almost constantly stuck in my head during the whole time I was there. But then you had this semi-chaotic, open, whatever happens nature of this instrument. One of the kind caregivers there told me that hearing is the last thing to go, so it's comforting to hear familiar voices. And I made sure that she heard my voice, be it talking nonsense, singing, and sometimes playing this instrument while talking, or just playing this. So there would be a nice atmosphere up until her last breath. David never built many of these. He remembers making about 4, and Darren faces the problem that the Fisher-Price turntable that this is based on is now a collectible toy. The median price is $116, and you can't just buy 2 and be done. He says he has to buy 4 because oftentimes these are broken, and each of them will sound slightly different. I mean, these are kids' toys, so kids played them and kids are rough with their toys. It's toys. So to get a good model working takes a lot of money just in the spare parts. So he's only making about 15 of these. Now you might say, oh, I see these way cheaper and they look to be brand new. They're still making these. Well, let me show you how they look inside. As you can see, the newer models use a completely different gearbox and they produce sound via a loudspeaker here. The funny thing is, you still have to wind this up. So it's a real retro futuristic save a few bucks thing. So the gearbox inside actually works. Just the sound is generated electronically. Since only a few people ever will be able to play the original Magic Box, I wanted to see if I could approximate it by DIYing. I had a Wolfel music box that was already piezofied lying around for years now. I wanted to see if I could convert it to the Magic Box. I undid the screws holding it into the case and removed the plastic gears connected to a lever you are supposed to turn to play it. Then I put the gears back in. I did not glue or screw anything as I wanted to put it back together after. This causes more noise and less optimal transfer of sound waves to the piezo. But in general, it works, kind of. The tines are not as resonant as the Fisher-Price ones, and the gears are unpleasant to play, smaller so there is less space to sink your flash into, and not as nuanced to play, like the star wheels of the Magic Box. I fear that unless someone copies the Fisher-Price gearbox, it will be hard to do more than a lo-fi approximation of the Magic Box. But as usual with anything, you can get to 80% pretty fast, but the last 20% that make an instrument really, really good, yeah. That's the mastery and the craft. One thing was cool though, I could use the metal sheet that presses the paper onto the tines as a wah-wah. And if you don't want to build anything, I've got a sample pack of the Magic Box on my Patreon with all kinds of little loops and expressions.
Are there any designs, like in your head, in the drawing board, that you haven't been able to develop yet?
There could be, because I'm not as smart as I used to be. So there could be things I haven't done that I just don't remember that I haven't done them. You can make them in different tunings. A kalimba is pretty much stuck in one tuning. Each individual kalimba is stuck in one tuning pretty much. But there's a lot of tunings.
Can you name any artists that played your instruments?
Well, Mickey Hart,
Okay.
the drummer from Grateful Dead.
Okay, nice.
Jens Lekman, who was a Swedish crooner. I don't have a website anymore, but if I did, I would ask everybody to tell me your name if you're using one of my kalimbas well.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe that's a good idea to do on the website.
Yeah.
That would be cool, like the Kalimba registry. They can put their name and the arcade number they have.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Thank you, Darren, for entrusting me with this instrument, allowing me to tell its story. And thank you, David, for answering the questions. This is something very special you guys made, at least for a weird person like I am in terms of sonics. That's it for this video. If you have any more questions or interesting builds of your own Magic Box approximations, put them in the comments below or visit the Heinbach subreddit. It's a nice place. Thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye. I should add a twinkle effect and just disappear. Oh, I wonder if I can do that.